Last year at Ohio State, these two players were on opposite sides. Now they're teammates, and they're making things happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2nd and 7, and there goes Calvin Austin. He's off. Racing to the 20, then the 10, and into the end zone for a touchdown. The Steelers just keep doing it year after year. It's almost funny to me when I hear people criticize Mike Tomlin. We're literally watching greatness. He doesn't lose. And no, finishing 9, 8 is not mediocre. Honestly, it baffles me when people call him average. 2 decades of winning seasons and a Super Bowl victory is far from mediocrity. But enough about that. Let's talk about Week 3. The Steelers face the Chargers, a confident 2-0 team. But as usual, Pittsburgh's defense took control, and the offense did a solid job managing the game. In this video, I'm going to break down how the Steelers have jumped to a 3-0 start, whether they can keep it up, and recap the big win against the Chargers. Before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. It takes just a few seconds, and you can always change your mind later. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and I know with your help, we'll get there fast. Now let's talk about the game. The first quarter was quiet until the 3-minute mark when Justin Herbert fired a 27-yard touchdown pass to Quentin Johnston. But the Steelers didn't take long to respond. Justin Fields ran it in himself to tie the game at 7 just before halftime. The Chargers tried to take the lead again, but Pittsburgh's defense held strong, limiting them to just a 28-yard field goal from Cameron Dicker. So the Chargers led 10-7 at halftime. Coming into the second half, Chris Boswell tied the game with a 38-yard field goal. In typical Steelers fashion, they added another field goal in the fourth quarter to go up 13-10. The Steelers' style may not be flashy. They play tough, grinded-out football, but they get the job done. They play defense, force punts, and wear teams down. Then came the dagger. Justin Fields connected with Calvin Austin on a 55-yard touchdown to extend the lead to 20-10. From there, the Steelers' defense took over, sealing the victory. The final score stayed 20-10, and Pittsburgh moved to a 3-0 record. It's clear Justin Fields isn't going anywhere. He may not be perfect, but he's doing exactly what Coach Mike Tomlin asks, making the plays when they matter most. Tomlin himself said, "I love that about him. He doesn't get caught up in the highs and lows, whether we're winning or losing. The guys can rally around that. He's steady. He competes, and he doesn't shy away from anything." Here's what Justin Fields had to say after the game. "In the first half, we didn't run the ball like we wanted to. But in the second half, especially late in the game, we got the ground game going. The running backs and offensive line did a great job. Even when the defense knew we were going to run, we still got the yards we needed. It's a big help for our whole offense." Fields has been solid so far, completing 73.3% of his passes, 55 out of 78, for 518 yards, with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's also rushed for 90 yards and a touchdown. Coach Tomlin expects more, though. He said, "I want to see him improve in every area. It's hard to know exactly where to focus without enough shared experience. But as we work together more, I'll be able to narrow down the areas he needs to sharpen." Tomlin's mindset says a lot about the potential of this team. They're 3-0, but he's still thinking about where they can get better. By week 6 or 7, when the offense finds its rhythm, this team could be firing on all cylinders. A 12-win season is absolutely possible, something few predicted at the start of the year. Let's also talk about the other key players. Najee Harris was seen with his arm in a sling recently, but reports say he'll be ready for the upcoming game against the Colts. No worries there. Harris is on the verge of a breakout season. Pittsburgh seems to have figured out how to best use him. He may not be breaking off huge runs, but he consistently grinds out 4 to 5 yards at a time. When you add Fields' ability to run, It makes the offense really balanced. The offensive line has also made huge strides in 2024 compared to recent years. In the game against the Chargers, they wore down the LA defense, leaving them exhausted by the end of the fourth quarter. It wasn't a fluke. The Steelers were in complete control. I wouldn't go as far as to say the Chargers quit, but it was obvious they didn't have the same energy or effort in the second half as they did at the start. Once the Steelers got a sense that the Chargers were wearing down, they imposed their will, playing that physical style of football they are known for. As Steelers offensive tackle Dan Moore Jr. said after the game, "We were trying to play physical football, and you could definitely tell we wore them down." It became clear to the offensive line that the Chargers were losing steam. That turning point came on our first drive in the second half. It wasn't a touchdown drive, but we put 3 points on the board, and we could feel the energy shift. The defense picked up on that momentum, and from then on, the game seemed to tilt in the Steelers' favor. Wide receivers and big plays. Now let's talk about the wide receivers. With the way the Steelers' offense is run, especially under Arthur Smith, it's clear the guys on the outside aren't going to put up flashy stats. But as we saw with that big touchdown by Calvin Austin, the opportunity is always there for game-changing plays. And with Justin Fields at quarterback, those throws are definitely within reach. Defense, the Steelers' foundation. Switching gears to the defense, the heart and soul of this Steelers team. If I had to sum up this defense in one phrase, it's simple. They just get the job done. The Colts offensive coordinator even said he's treating this Steelers defense like a high-powered offense because of how dangerous they are. And he's not wrong. So far this season, Pittsburgh's defense has practically been their best offense. They constantly force turnovers, set up great field position, and always seem to make something happen. The Steelers have game changers at every level. TJ Watt, who can line up anywhere and wreak havoc, anchors this defense. The secondary has been rock solid, and the entire unit has mastered the bend but don't break philosophy. They might give up some yards, but rarely do they allow 7 points. TJ Watt, a 4-time All-Pro, keeps it simple. We've got a confident group. We know we're a top defense. We don't talk much. We just play. Watt had 3 tackles in the game, letting his actions speak louder than words. The Steelers registered 5 sacks, including 2 from second-year player Nick Herbig, who had a breakout game after Alex Highsmith left with a groin injury. The Steelers held the Chargers to just 61 rushing yards, a huge drop for J.K. Dobbins, who came into the game averaging 133 yards per game. T.J. Watt summed it up perfectly. This was 2 trains on the same track, 2 top defenses. They love to run, and we love stopping the run. We haven't looked at the film yet, but it felt like we outperformed them today. But none of this means anything if we don't get back to work and keep improving. Looking ahead. Next up, the Steelers are hitting the road to face the Colts, fresh off a big win against the Bears. Anthony Richardson, the Colts' young and mobile quarterback, will present another challenge for this defense. The Steelers are going to have to be dominant from the very first snap. I'd love to see Justin Fields get a little more aggressive with the passing game, but if the Steelers stick to their formula, grinding down the clock and chipping away on offense, I don't see why they can't move to 4-0. And I've got a feeling George Pickens is due for a big game. Something tells me he's going to make some noise in this one, but we'll see. That's all for now. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content and haven't yet, please drop a like and subscribe. Your support means the world to me. Also, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Until then, I'll see you all later.